Hello and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see very important articles that appeared in our today's newspaper. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see first of all the important topics of the day, and later on we are going to see each and every topic from prelims and as well as mains point of view, and at last I'll be giving you prelims practice questions so that you can understand exactly how questions can be asked in your examination. Before that, I want to make a small announcement. We in our Rathods Science Academy, we are going to conduct an anthropology related orientation session today itself, and the timings of that class is 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. and we are providing both on online and offline, guys. You can visit our academy for offline demo, and if you want to watch it on online, please do download Rathods IAS app from the Play Store and please do log in so that you will be getting notification before once the class gets started. Okay, don't miss this, guys, and please remember the timings 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Okay, and now let us see the topics of the day. First topic is Supreme Court restricts retrospective green clearances. Here the keyword is green clearances. Here you have to understand what is clearance first of all, and later on you have to know why Supreme Court is restricting this retrospective clearance. What exactly the word retrospective means, you need to know that. And what is the impact of this kind of decision or judgment given by the Supreme Court. This topic is important from environment and ecology and as well as polity point of view. Next article is US Fast Tracks Act to impose up to 100% tariff on nations importing Russian crude oil. There is one more update related to India-US relations. Now US is saying to impose around 100% of tariffs on the countries which are importing Russian crude oil. So here we have to see what is this update, and this topic is important from GS paper 3 from economy and even from GS paper 2 under international relations. This article is important. Next topic is BS3 vehicles may require some modifications to use E20 fuel, says government. As you all know that government is promoting E20, and for that reason we need to make some changes in our vehicles. So now our Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways gave one written reply for this question, and he said we need to do some minor modifications in our vehicles. Let us see what are those modifications and why we need to do that modifications. And this topic is important from GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. Next topic is RS passes bill to criminalize disrespect to Vande Mataram. Finally, a bill which had been passed in Rajya Sabha which is providing respect to national song Vande Mataram. Here you have to see what is the earlier act and which kind of amendments we are doing to this act through this bill of 2026. On this, UPSC can ask you a prelims and as well as mains based question this time. And next one is FCRA Bill 2026, a threat to civil society organizations. As you all know that we have civil societies, we have NGOs. Here there is one act related to this NGOs which are receiving this foreign funds. That is FCRA, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. And we are making some changes to this FCRA Act now. And because of these changes, it is going to threat that civil society. So here you have to see what are the changes that we are going to make under this new bill. This topic is important from GS paper 2 under governance. Okay, read this title, guys. Supreme Court restricts retrospective green clearances. What is this article? It is about clearance. Okay, first keyword is you need to understand what is the meaning of retrospective, and next one is you have to know about green clearances. Okay, and this topic is very important from environment and ecology. And to understand this article, you need to know some basic background. For example, you can take any environment related projects or any development project. For example, we are constructing a roadway through a forest, or if you are constructing any railway in Ghats region, or you can take this example of Great Nicobar project. Whenever we are constructing any project or any roads or any dams or any railways, or in case any tourism related sites, or any township, or any power plant, or any industry that you are building, what is happening here? It will release pollution into atmosphere. Yes, because of this pollution, it will be causing harm to the environment. And even if we want to construct anything, first we have to go for cutting down of trees. We are cutting down millions of trees to construct a development project. We want to lay a road. If this road is passing through a national park, then what happen? Obviously, it will be having impact on plants, animals, everything. Entire ecology will be getting affected. That means whenever we are constructing any project, obviously it will be having impact on what? Impact on environment. So if we think that it will be having impact on environment, if we should not construct that, is that good for the country? Can we ensure development? If we are compromising on development, we can ensure environment. If we are compromising on environment, we can ensure development. So these two will go side by side. Whether we have to compromise on environment, whether we have to compromise on development. So actually what we have to do here is, development is very important because India has an ambitious target of Viksit Bharat by 2047, and we have an ambition of 5 trillion economy. Without development, we cannot achieve the targets. So for that, what we have to do is, before giving approval for any project, we have to go for environment impact assessment. What is environment impact assessment? So we have to submit about the project, proposal of the project, how it is going to benefit, and what is the value of that project, how many number of trees we are going to cut, what is the area of that. So every detail of that project we have to submit to environmental department or environment ministry. And now environment ministry will start investigation. It will do survey, it will do research study, detailed study. They will go to the site, on field studies, everything, and they will analyze what are the benefits and what is the cost. In this cost, they will see economical cost, environmental cost, pollution, impact on society, everything they will take into consideration. And if benefits are more compared to that of this cost, then what happens? Our environment ministry will give clearance. This is called as environmental clearance. Then ministry will give a clearance certificate to that project, and now that person will start that project. So this is the process that is to be normally followed. But is this project will be done within days or weeks or months? It will go on to years together. Some projects will not get environment clearance even after 10 years also. Then what happened? The project will be getting delayed. So at that time, what they will do? They will start. In some times, whenever if we want that project to be constructed immediately, they will start the project and then they will apply for clearance. Normally, this process has to be done before starting of that project itself. But sometimes if there is any urgent public importance, if we want to consider that for sure, then they will go for starting of project and they will apply for clearance. Okay, so they are applying for the clearance for project already started. This is called as retrospective clearance. Are you understanding? This is called as retrospective clearance. Now you know what is normal green clearance or environment clearance. Now you know about retrospective. So actually the process should be followed in this way. Like first, whenever they are coming up with the idea of that project, they have to submit that project for environment ministry, and environment ministry will do this environment impact assessment, and then it will give clearance for that project. That person will start this project. This is the normal process. But what happens sometimes, they will start the project and they will apply for clearance. This type of clearance is called as retrospective clearance. Okay. And in mains, in this environment impact assessment, we have 7 to 8 steps. On this UPSC asked mains based question 2019. So here keep star mark for this environment impact assessment. And you have to keep star mark for this retrospective clearance. In 2026 or 2027 mains, you will get this topic in your mains case. Okay, even in 2025 also, this retrospective clearance was in news. And now again in 2026, it is in news. That means in 2027, you can expect question on environment impact assessment or retrospective environment clearance in prelims and as well as in mains in 2026 mains or 2027 mains. It is very important topic, and students who are going to write 2027, they have to focus on this for sure. In 2026 prelims itself, we expected the question can be asked, but it was not asked. That means next year there is a chance. Okay. Now let us see in detail what is this article talking about. Now recently 3-judge Supreme Court bench said that we should restrict this environment, that is retrospective environment clearance. Retrospective is also called as post facto clearance. I think in your fundamental rights also you came across this. In which article? 20, right? So the same thing. It is also the retrospective or post facto. If you know some words, you can use in multiple subjects. It is that example. Okay. So here, Supreme Court now said that we have to restrict this post facto or retrospective environment clearance. And Supreme Court said that before giving this environment clearance, EC is nothing but environment clearance, we need to go for environment impact assessment. Then only we have to give environment clearance. And Supreme Court also made one thing very clear. This retrospective or post facto clearances can be granted only in exceptional cases which are having public interest. Not in all cases we can go for this environment clearances. Okay. Yes. Now let us see. You know about what is environment clearance? Okay. Now here you have to see for which projects we need environment clearance. If we want to construct any project or development activities or infrastructure in ecologically sensitive areas. Recently we discussed about Western Ghats. Why we discussed about Western Ghats? Government issued draft notification related to conservation of Western Ghats. Yes, we should not give new permission for mining, and we should not go for construction of so and so things, and we discussed each and every point in last class. So here in that kind of ecologically sensitive areas, like if we have national parks, if we have biosphere reserves, if we have mangroves, if we have tribal areas in the coastal zones, if we want to go for construction, we need to take environment clearance for sure, because it will be having huge negative impact on ecology and as well as environment in that location. And next here, environment impact assessment related act is in 2006 we have that. So it says that we have to take environment clearance for around 39 types of activities. Under this we have category A, B, and C and D. So for this category A projects, environment clearance will be given by union ministry, that is nothing but central government. And for this category B, state government will be giving permission. Okay. And you know about what is this ex post facto environment clearance, no need to bother about that. But here you have to know about Supreme Court judgment. If we are talking about this environment clearance, we have one act called as Environment Protection Act of 1986. Okay, under that they released environment impact assessment notifications in 1994 and as well as 2006. They will talk about environment clearance we have to take prior before starting of this project. So what is the legal framework in India related to this clearance? That is Environment Protection Act. We have Environment Impact Assessment Notification, which clearly says that before the project starts, we have to take environment clearance. And next important point you have to see is, in 2025, there was a famous case called as Supreme Court's Van Shakti judgment. In that judgment, Supreme Court clearly said that there should not be any ex post facto environment clearance. And again in 2026 also Supreme Court said that we have to restrict this ex post facto clearances. Now tell me what is the impact? If you are restricting this ex post facto clearances, is that good for environment or bad? Obviously good. So what will be the positive impact that we can see? We cannot give this clearances after one's project is start, so that environment degradation is controlled to some extent. And next, any other impacts? Okay, we can also decrease this environment related hazards and disasters. Next. Okay, so if you see the first one, on existing projects, there will be minimum disruption and there is no mass demolition of buildings or infrastructure. Okay, and next one is on future projects, developers or industries, they can no longer start the construction or operations. For the government, there will be easy administration process. It can ensure transparency and accountability. In governance, you will come across these words. Don't worry, transparency, accountability. Only you'll read these two words. So here we can ensure this accountability and transparency in environment projects. Next one is obviously we can improve environment protection, and even we can reduce the stress on environment also because of this kind of projects. This is this topic, guys. That's it, nothing more than that. See this next article. US Fast Tracks Act to impose up to 100% tariffs on nations importing Russian crude oil. So here you have to interlink multiple news articles that we studied. Okay, so I'll tell you the story from first onwards. Do India have crude oil reserves? We are importing from other countries. We are having very meager, very less than 5% of our daily needs is met by our Indian reserves. More than 90% we are getting from other countries. From which countries we are importing? West Asian countries, US, Venezuela, Russia, right? What is happening in this West Asia crisis between which countries? US and Iran disruption war is going on. Because of this war, what happened? Production of oil is reduced. Because of that, the supply in international market reduced. Because of that, the cost is high. That is the one thing. And next one here is, whenever this war is going on between US and Iran, Iran also targeted multiple military bases of US in other countries in West Asia. In other countries also, the production had been stalled. That is a one more thing. And because of this war, they stopped which route? Strait of Hormuz. Because of this, there is no proper movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz. And what is the recent update? Iran is using Houthis. Houthis are from which country? Yemen. And now they are controlling which strait? Bab el-Mandab Strait. Again, there is no movement of ships of other West Asian countries through this Bab el-Mandab. These are the geopolitics that you know. Because of this West Asian crisis, there is increased crude oil prices. And there is, what is the price now? Actually, it is around $100 per a barrel. Earlier, it used to be like 56 to 58 dollars per a barrel, but now it is more than $100 per a barrel. That will be like costly for India. Okay. And next one is recently, and next one is West Asian crisis going on, and US also allowed India to import oil from Russia. US also allowed, right? But now suddenly US now made a statement that the countries which are importing oil from Russia, we will impose up to 100% tariff, not exactly 100%, up to 100% tariffs on countries. This is the present article which is talking about. And recently, what is the update we discussed related to India and US relations? India placed under 10% tariff bracket. Why? Because the countries are producing goods from forced labor. To prevent that forced labor, we are doing some reforms. So we kept countries under different brackets. And India, earlier it said that it will be under 12.5% because of the reform we made in our India trade foreign policy that had reduced India's tariff from 12.5 to 10%. So this is the second important update. And now my question is, why suddenly US wants to impose tariffs on countries which are getting oil from Russia? Why? What do you think? Why? To decline economy. Okay. So which organization is led by US? NATO? North Atlantic Treaty Organization? Any update regarding NATO? That did we discuss anything? What is that summit name? Ankara summit, yes. Recently, Ankara summit happened. What are the 4 important points in the summit? Anyone, please? Article 5, it is about collective defense. Next, 5% of their GDP they have to spend on militarization. Next, modernization of technology. And last point. Last point, yes, this is a very important point that I want. Support for Ukraine. Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, integrity, everything these NATO countries has to support. Okay. Russia is in war with Ukraine. It started on anyone? Can you tell me the date exactly? 2022. What is the date? Not December. Anyone? Check whether it is your birthday date or not. Anyone? February 24, 2022. On this date exactly, they started war. Russia waged war against Ukraine and started from this February 24, 2022 onwards. It had been more than 3 years. 3 years completed. But still this war is continuing. And recently in this Ankara summit, one important point they pledged is to protect Ukraine from Russia. So how these countries can protect Ukraine? They want to hit this Russia economically. And one important source of income for Russia is selling of crude oil. Selling of crude oil. And even one more current affairs we discussed about Russian crude oil. Can anyone recall and remember it? Please tell me. Yes, we are buying Russian oil at higher cost compared to that of other areas. That means it is a source of economy for Russia. Will you accept it or not? Yes. So if you want to stop this war, we have to hit this Russia economically. So because of this, now US came up with a step, and now US is saying that countries which are importing oil from Russia will be attracted up to 100% tariffs. And now you guys tell me which countries will be affected more. India. Apart from India, China. So in this article they gave this point. Under latest version of Act, tariffs up to 100% would be levied on top 5. They said on top 5 purchasers of Russian crude oil and natural gas. Currently, China is importing around 47 to 50% of its crude oil from Russia. And next one is India is accounted for 36 to 38. So these two countries are majorly impacted because of this up to 100% tariffs. So if you want to understand this, you need to know all that story. If you don't know that story, we cannot. So every current affairs is important. Current affairs is not like reading today and leaving today. We have to remember it and we have to apply in the next day's current affairs. Then only you can understand the topic holistically. If you read today and if you leave it today, then you cannot connect. You will not understand the next days. And you cannot write a good answer because every consequence will happen because of multiple reasons. Yes or no? Normally apply it to your family also. If you're not talking to some guy, is that the only one reason why you will be not talking? If there is one reason, you will be compromising. If there are multiple reasons, then only it will be like a strong disaffection towards that guy or family and will not talk to them. Yes or no? The consequence is not because of a single incident. It will be because of multiple things that is actually applied in this international relations. Clear now? How many things we discussed? We discussed about West Asia, we discussed about Strait of Hormuz, we discussed about Bubble Mandap, we discussed about Houthis here, we discussed about US tariffs on India, again Russia-Ukraine war, again Ankara summit, we discussed about NATO. How many things are there here to understand just this one article? Okay, so current affairs, you have to revise, then only you can interconnect, you can connect the dots, or else you will not understand this international relations. Clear? Okay, this is about this topic. Now you have to think about what India can do. Tell me guys, what India can do. Come on, fast. What India can do. Okay, think about that and at least write 4 to 5 points. Already you you are aware about this incident. You know what is happening now. So just write down the 4 to 5 points, like what are the choices present before India, because in future you may get this IFS service and you have to diplomatically deal with this kind of incidents. So how can you deal? Try to get that kind of experience from now onwards. Think that you are an IFS officer and this is the problem before you, and try to write 4 to 5 points what can be done. Okay, see this article, guys. BS3 vehicles may require some modifications to use E20 fuel, says government. So what is the keyword here? One is BS3. Second one is E20 fuel. You know about E20. There is no need of explaining this E20, right? E20 is nothing but 20% of ethanol mixed with petrol. Why we mixed? To reduce emissions, right? And to reduce the imports, to save foreign currency, and to reduce dependency on other countries. That is the idea of E20. And now we are moving towards this E85 also. E85 is nothing but 85% of ethanol plus 15% of petrol. That you know. And now what is this BS? Full form is Bharat Stage. The major problem in India is vehicular pollution. Will you accept it or not? To control this pollution, our Environment Ministry introduced this BS, Bharat Stage. So in this we have different stages like BS1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and present which stage is going on? 6. If you are good at purchasing of vehicles, new models, you will be knowing about this BS5, BS6. Entirely the new models are based on BS5 and BS6. What is this? To increase fuel efficiency and to decrease vehicular emissions. That is the idea behind this Bharat Stage. Okay. So if you are purchasing like advanced stages, the price will be obviously more. Okay. Now here this article is saying that in BS3 vehicles, actually we came up with this BS3 vehicles from 2005. From 2005 onwards till 2016, government gave permission for manufacturing of this BS3 vehicles. Now government is saying that we want to come up with E20 fuel. So here, can we use this E20 fuel in this BS3 vehicles or not? This is the question, because many of us have this vehicles which had been purchased in 2012, 15, 14 like that. From 2016 onwards, next stage advancements came. In advanced stages, yes, we can use this. But the question is, can we use this fuel in this E20 or not? Because always we have to think about middle class in India. Because we have income inequality and wealth inequality. So top 1% are very rich, but remaining 80 to 90% belongs to this middle class in our country. So if government wants to enhance anything, or government wants to impose anything on the people, it has to think about this middle class, not this 1% high class people. Yes. So here middle class people will be having this BS3 and BS4 vehicles. So now there is one question asked. Now the session is going on, right? Which session is going on now? Monsoon session is going on in the parliament. So first 1 hour will be question hour. So how many types of questions can be asked? Start question, unstart question, and short notice question. So in which type of question written answer will be given? Unstart question. Why asked this is? Who is he? Do you know him? Nitin Gadkari is Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways. Okay, now here the session is going on. In Rajya Sabha, he gave a written reply. Written reply means which type of question they asked? Unstart question. So you have to know about these 3 types of questions. UPSC asked question 2026 prelims. Okay, clear? And he gave in a written reply that some BS3 vehicles need minor modifications to use this E20 fuels. Even BS3 vehicles also can use this E20 vehicles with some minor modifications. He gave that answer. So which kind of modifications we have to do? We have to change the rubber parts and gaskets. If we are changing that, yes, we can use this E20 fuel in this BS3 also. There is no need of changing of entire engine. That is the thing which mainly said by our road transport minister. Okay, now let us see why these modifications ought to be done. Now we are using ethanol plus petrol. Ethanol is alcohol. It is normally corrosive. So because of this corrosiveness, whatever the older rubber components that we are using, they may leach. Do you know this leaching? Normally, if you place this rubber to sun, to water, to coldness, what happens? Sometimes it will become very brittle, and if you touch it in some powdery things that you can, that is called as leaching. So here, if you are using this alcohol in this old rubber components of the vehicles, that will lead to leaching of this rubber components. So for this reason, normally we have to go for changing of this rubber components like hoses, seals, O-rings, gaskets, fuel system parts. And they are very minor changes. Normally, whenever we are taking our vehicles to service, we can easily change them. It will not cost that much. So this is the idea of this article, guys. Here you have to see about BS standards. Keep star mark and write down. Refer BS stages. Refer BS stages. BS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Present 6 is going on. Okay, so just see that once. And see this next article, guys. RS passes bill to criminalize disrespect to Vande Mataram. Okay, and keep star mark for this Vande Mataram also. Write Vande Mataram and keep star mark. Why star mark? Last year marks 150th anniversary of this song. But there was no question in paper. And now again, this Vande Mataram is in news. Why? Because Rajya Sabha itself passes a bill to give respect to this Vande Mataram song. This is one of the major milestone we can say. Okay, that means you may get a question in your 2027 prelims related to this Vande Mataram. Okay, so here now tell me guys, who wrote this song? Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. In which movement they used this song as a slogan? In which movement? In Swadeshi movement. Do you know the Swadeshi movement? What is Swadeshi? Swadeshi means we have to promote our Indian goods. We have to boycott foreign goods. That is that movement. Why does Swadeshi movement started in India? Which led to this movement? Yes, very good. Partition of Bengal. So what is partition of Bengal? Hey, yeah, history. If you see in your modern history, most of the questions will come from Indian freedom struggle. That will start from 1885 till 1947. You have to know each and every movement. And on this movement, every time 2 questions can be asked. In 2026 also they asked about ICA movement. And before that, on non-cooperation movement, 2 questions came in 2025. You have to be thorough with this Indian national movement. You should not miss any part of this. Okay, so here in 1985, what happened? INC, do you know this? Indian National Congress formed. And after that, the people started doing more and more protest. And almost this leaders, they came from this Bengal region. Bengal was a very big province at that time. And always Britishers followed one policy, divide and rule policy. They have to divide people and they have to rule. So at that time, they came up with this idea of dividing this Bengal. If we divide this Bengal based on the communal lines like Hindus and Muslims, we can divide the community and we can rule India. So that what happened, there will be less protest against Britishers. That was the idea of this Britishers. At that time, in 1905, Britishers announced partition of Bengal. This is east part of Bengal. This is west part of Bengal. So even today, we'll call this Bengal as West Bengal. That is the reason why we'll call West Bengal. So this West Bengal commonly have Hindus. East Bengal commonly have this Muslims. And finally, at the partition of India, it was East Pakistan. Here we have West Pakistan. In 1971, because of war, Bangladesh got independence, and from then onwards, we were calling this area as Bangladesh. But we didn't change this name of West Bengal. Till today also, we are continuing and we are saying this as West Bengal. Okay. So in 1905, they proposed this idea of partition of Bengal. And Indians came to understand, and there is raised awareness that this is one example of divide and rule policy of Britishers, and we have to prevent this. Because if this partition happened means there will be a divide between Hindus and Muslims. The unity between Hindus and Muslims will be collapsed and people cannot fight against Britishers. So because of this, they started this movement in 1906, Swadeshi movement. At that time, they started boycotting this foreign goods. Nationwide, they went for Hartals, protest, everything that you'll study in your history. Okay. So in that 1906 movement, they used this Vande Mataram song as a slogan. On this, you may get a question. And this song was written in one novel called as Anand Math. You have to know about it. Yeah, in your history, you'll come across all these things, guys. As of now, just remember that. And this is national song or national anthem. National song. Fundamental duty is done. Now tell me, guys, which fundamental duty talks about this national anthem? National flag. DPSP. I said already fundamental duty only. Why are you saying again DPSP? Which duty? It is a duty of people. Our constitution is ensuring your rights. And in return, it is also asking you to do this duties. Which, is there any fundamental duty talks about national song, anthem, flag? What is that? Article 51A, in that one more subclass. A only, right? You have to abide to constitution and national flag. Yes? What about national song? Is that included there? They include national anthem, but not national song. That means there is no proper protection for this national song, which is Vande Mataram. So now we are getting that kind of protection to Vande Mataram by passing this bill. Clear? To know this, you have to know all these things, guys. Okay, now let us come to this article. Rajya Sabha on 29 July 2026, that is yesterday, they passed one bill. The name of the bill is Prevention of Insults to National Honor Amendment Bill 2026. Amendment is nothing but we are doing some change, right? So to which act we are changing? We are making some changes. We are making changes to 1971 Act. The name of that act is Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act 1971. Please make a note here. Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act. Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act 1971. And whenever you are writing any answer related to duty, now you have to include this act. That is the reason why I am asking you to write this. Okay, Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act. What it says? It is nothing but the act of parliament which is prohibiting the insult to countries' national symbols, especially national flag and Constitution of India. So we have section 2 of this act which deals with national flag insulted as well as Constitution of India insult. And we have section 3 talks about national anthem. What is the national anthem? Which is our national anthem? Janagana Mana, you know, right? National song is different, national anthem is different. If someone asks you, if don't tell that Vande Mataram is national anthem, they will say something, I don't want to say that. Okay. Next one here is, this act aims to safeguard what? Dignity and respect associated with national symbols. Okay, now what is the current bill is focusing on? Current bill is focusing on two important things. First one is they are asking to change the section 3. Earlier section 3 talks about only national anthem. But now we include national song as a new provision in this. That is the first change they are making. And next one is punishment. If someone is preventing to sing this national anthem or song, if they are causing any disturbance to any assembly engaged in certain kind of singing, they will be now punishable offense. So there will be imprisonment up to 3 years or fine or both. These are the two important changes they want to make in this Honors Act of 1971 through this 2026 Amendment Bill. Clear? Okay, now let us see the next article. Read out the title, guys. FCRA Bill 2026, a threat to civil society organizations. Civil society, is it done in your class? Governance. Governance is going on, right? Which topics had been done so far? RTI, corruption, citizen charter. NGOs, civil society not yet done. I think today or tomorrow it will be done. Okay, as of now, just remember we have NGOs. What is the full form of NGO? Non-governmental organizations or non-profit organizations. What they'll do service to the society. If they want to do service to society, they need funds. So here, these organizations will raise funds in our country, and sometimes they can raise funds from outside of our country. So here, if there is any organization, if it is getting funds outside of our country, they have to register with Government of India under FCRA Act. What is the full form? Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. They are getting foreign contributions, right? So now it is a responsibility of our country, our government, that these funds should be utilized only for the purpose. There should not be any influence of foreign country on India. So for that, this NGOs has to register with FCRA. If they are registered with FCRA, then only they are eligible to receive foreign funds. If they are not registered, they can get funds from India only. They cannot get funds from outside of our country. So here we are making some changes to this FCRA Act now. So here you have to see what is that FCRA related new proposals of this bill. That is about this topic. And many a times UPSC asked questions in mains related to FCRA. Many times they asked. That means next time also they may give a question on this, because it is one more update related to this FCRA. Okay. Now let us see what is this FCRA Act first. FCRA full form is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Actually, we came up with this act in year 1976. Later on, we replaced with 2010, and we made lot of changes in 2016, 18 and 20. And now again in 2026, we are proposing some changes to this act. And this act, which is focusing on regulation of foreign funds related to acceptance and how they are utilizing everything. Okay, and under this registration, if any NGO had been registered under this FCRA, and the time period, it is valid for 5 years. After once 5 years is done, they have to go for again renewal. And in India, around 16,000 NGOs are registered with FCRA, and imagine they are getting around 22,000 crore rupees annually from foreign countries. So is that necessary to control these people or not? For that reason, Government of India came up with this act. And now we are making certain changes to this act to make strict regulation on this NGOs which are receiving this foreign funds. Okay. Have you seen this movie Hit 3, anyone? In that movie also, especially in the conclusion, they will say about KTC. CTK is that organization of killing part, but there is one Swedish medical company will be giving funds to one KTC organization. They will give that just 1 minute or 2 minute clip at the last. What will you see, guys? So actually what is happening here is, many a times the foreign funds, if they are getting to some organizations, that will be misused normally. So for that reason, we have to control this kind of foreign funds. Because in India, poverty is more, hunger is more, and there is human trafficking, drug trafficking. So they can use this kind of foreign funds for the organized crime related things. So because of this, we have to control this kind of foreign funds. If you see something, try to relate it, try to understand the concept. Don't just watch like that movies. You have to understand and try to remember the things. And try to understand what exactly the society is. Even if you can't go to every place, by watching movies we can understand. They will add masala, I will accept, but at least they will not try to change the concept. They will try to show at least some reality, what is happening. After listening to that, don't ask me like there is no time to watch everyday 3 hours movie, ma'am. No matter watching everyday 3 hours, at least weekly once you can watch that too. Nice movies, not that kind of movies, only investigation, which is giving some concept related to your subject. Watch that kind of movies. Okay, now let us see this. What are the provisions that we want to make changes in act? The first one is If registration is not restored, if they're not doing registration, or if their renewal period came, if they're not going for restoration, what they'll do here is, whatever the assets which are there on that name of NGO, government will be taking away that assets. And what government do? Government will sell that assets and they'll get money, right? And they'll be adding in this Consolidated Fund of India. Which article in the Constitution talks about CFI? Very good. Okay. So here you know about Consolidated Fund, Public Accounts Fund, and one more Contingency Fund. So which kind of funds which are there in these three, you know, right? So now if registration is not restored, government will sell the property, and what are the money they'll get? They'll transfer to CFI. And next one is automatic cessation of registration. So if they are not renewing after 5 years, in 3 cases there will be stopping of or cancellation of that permission, registration. If organization failed to apply for renewal, if it is not applied, or if renewal application is rejected by the government, or if it is expired without renewal, in these 3 situations, completely the registration of that FCRA related NGO will be cancelled. And next one is, what are the funds you are getting? They have to use within a time period. Okay, what are the foreign funds you are getting? They have to use in a time period, so that we can increase financial discipline and transparency in that NGO. And next one here is, if any organization is suspended, if they are suspended by the government, they cannot sell, they cannot mortgage, or they cannot transfer the funds in the account of that NGO. And next one here is centralized investigation control. So government is focusing on proper investigation. If there is any case on any NGO filed under this FCRA, then that NGO will be investigated by central government, right, and state government. If state government has to do any investigation, for sure central government permission is necessary. That is one more thing, because normally we don't have proper coordination between central and state. To reduce the power of state, now central government will be having more monitoring and inspections on this NGOs. And next one here is assets. Okay, next one here is, if organization had been suddenly shut down. Suddenly if that organization had been shut down, whatever the assets are there on the name of this NGO will be taken by government. So these are the changes. So because of these changes, what is happening? If they are not renewing and if they are not functioning properly, then what happened? Entire the property will be taken by the government. So here normally, if you see the trust, how they will work, they will be hereditary, right? If head will die means son, grandson, like that they will be transferring the property, but that is not the case in this kind of NGOs which are registered with FCRAs. Because of this, it will be affecting the interest of civil society organizations. Because of this, it is in news case. And I think your sir will be discussing in detail about this NGOs FCRA in your today's or most probably tomorrow's class. Okay, there you will get clear-cut clarity. They will be giving you lots of examples related to this. Okay, next, why we have to regulate this foreign contributions? First one is to promote national security and sovereignty, and to prevent money laundering, and to control organized crime in our country, and to ensure these funds are utilized for only developmental and charity purpose, not for other illegal activities, to increase transparency and accountability. So all these are the reasons why we have to control this foreign funds. And now answer these questions, guys. First one, it is about BS3 vehicles. Can you see it? First statement here is, Bharat stage emission norms are notified by central government to regulate vehicular emissions. And next, E20 fuel contains 20% ethanol and 80% petrol. And next one is, all BS3 vehicles are fully compatible with E20 fuel without any modification. Why I gave this first statement is, similar way you will be having basal norms that comes under your economy. BS basal, it is sounding similar, no? Now you know why madam gave this statement. It is about vehicular emission. In examination, you will mistaken by this basal norms. So for that reason, I gave this statement. Now it is very much clear. It is about vehicular emission. But in the final examination, you should not confuse with this kind of similar wordings. That is the idea behind this question. Okay, we have Basel norms. You'll come across that in your economy in banking chapter. And BS is Bharat stage, which comes under environment related to vehicular emissions. Clear? And say this next one, E20 fuel contains 20% ethanol and 80% petrol. All BS3 vehicles are fully compatible. Is that right? Why it is in use? We have to make some modifications. That is the reason. So here third statement will be incorrect. Answer will be 1 and 2. And see this next question, which of the following is not an objective of FCRA? Ensuring transparency in foreign funding, preventing foreign influence on India's national interest, regulating foreign donations, promoting FDI. Did we discuss anywhere about FDI, investments? Answer will be option D. We are talking about only foreign donations, foreign country influence, funding of foreign countries. Yes. Next, see this question, consider the following statements regarding Vande Mataram. There are 3 statements. The first one, it was composed by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay Chatterjee Singh. It originally appeared in novel Anand Mat. It is the national anthem of India. It is national song, not an anthem. Now you will say, but in examination hall, you will say only national and you'll keep right. Don't do that. That kind of mistakes we'll do. Tondara Patu, Tuttara, everything will come. We'll do in examination hall. So that is the reason. Now you are very clear. That clearness, clarity should be maintained in examination hall also. Okay. Yeah, that's all guys. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please do hit the like button and please to share this video. And don't forget about today's anthropology orientation session, and the timings is 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. guys. And I wish you all the best, and we are going to meet soon in that session guys. Thank you so much.